right, picking up where we left off, we had a little technical issue there. So cultural control is just doing things in the growing environment or the production environment that deter pests. Like I said before, a lot of folks, when they think of pest management, their minds go directly to chemical pesticides. Now, there are synthetic and there are organic chemical pesticides. Chemical doesn't necessarily mean dangerous because water is chemical and we all need that to survive. So chemical control is an option. That's actually one of the options that we use to control thistle in our pasture, simply because nothing else is effective. Biological control, in my opinion, is the most interesting of them all. It may not be the simplest, but biological control is when you use something biological to control your pests. The picture of the ladybug and the aphid right here, I'm going to give you a little insect informational session right here. So aphids are an asexual plant. An asexual insect. They produce all by themselves, which means they produce really quickly. What they do is they suck the sap from the underside of the plant, from the underneath the leaves and along the stem, and they secrete what I tell my middle schoolers is called sweet poop because it grosses them out and makes them giggle, but it's called honeydew, and ants really like the honeydew. So a lot of times when you have an aphid invasion, you also get an ant invasion because the ants almost farm the aphids. They're like little honeydew cows. And so you've got a pest, and then you've got a pest that's being supported by another pest. The cool thing is that ladybugs or lady beetles actually eat aphids. And so instead of if blasting them with the water hose doesn't work, you can introduce ladybugs into the environment, and ladybugs will help to control those aphids. And the purpose of integrated pest management is to teach people that one of these doesn't work all the time. And chemical is not necessarily the best way to go. It's not necessarily the most economical for your production operation. And so the cool thing about this is it just teaches you kind of a holistic approach to controlling pests and to getting a good product at the end.
One of the workforce education programs that the University of Georgia conducts is a pesticide safety education. They work in collaboration with the Georgia Department of Agriculture and the Environmental Protection Agency to provide these services of the pesticide safety education and also the certification of pest control applicators. Here's the definition, well, not the definition, here's an excerpt from the UGA website concerning the safety education program, where it teaches people about the resources, training programs, and materials that are needed for private and commercial pesticide applicators to help them achieve the certification, giving them the knowledge to be effective and safe pest control operators, and to maintain the level of education necessary to keep the certification. The pest control applicator license is regulated by federal law. If people are going to apply commercially restricted pesticides, they must be licensed. In order to purchase the restricted use pesticides, you must have a license, either commercial or private, for the classification of restricted pesticides that you wish to purchase and use. UGA Extension Service provides the necessary training and materials for the credentialing needed for the pest control applicators to receive their license and to maintain those credentials. Without credentials, you do not have access to buying more effective pest control in the area of your expertise. So here we have a link to commercial pest control. It's the pesticide safety education from UGA Extension Service. Explains when a license is required, the requirements for a commercial pesticide applicator's license, which is very intense. There's a pesticide training information website, the Commercial Applicator Study Guide, other licensure information. So in order to be a pest applicator, and that may be a pest control company that comes out and visits a house, they're also used in commercial sites. These individuals must have a commercial pest control applicator's license, ensuring that they have been thoroughly trained in safety and use of pesticides. Some people are on a job and they are private applicators. Now, you can be a private applicator and applying pesticides to property you don't own. That is fine as long as it is you are employed by the company or individual that owns the property. Then you can be a private applicator. You still have access to use and purchase restricted use chemicals, but you must be licensed through the authority to have a private applicator license. This means that you cannot go out and get paid to commercially apply, but that you can have a private applicator license, and many agriculturalists, agricultural production people, have a private applicator's license. In order to be industry certified in horticulture, in the secondary education, our programs through Ag Ed get industry certified. One of the requirements is to have a private pest control applicator's license. So teachers do get a private applicator's license. This tells us about the recertification. They're all the same. Okay. As a means of program evaluation, the University of Wisconsin Extension Service has developed a logic model, and this is used by many different organizations to evaluate different programs, and it can be adapted to any program that is necessary to meet the unique needs. You collect data and you fill out this logic model, and then you can compare and analyze the program to make sure that it is meeting the needs of the consumer. I've also provided a link to a template for the logic model.
Once you have completed either the integrated pest management workforce training or you are a licensed pesticide applicator, here are some jobs that you could obtain. And some of these jobs, these are necessary training, specifically the pesticide applicator's license. So to be a pest control technician, which everybody needs one of those, a greenhouse manager, a turf grass manager, a greenskeeper, that could be like at a golf course or in at a business, pest management supervisor, a sustainable food or farm coordinator, for athletic turf maintenance. That could be for professional sports teams or university sports teams, to be a pesticide and pest control salesperson, lawn care maintenance and service, or to be a garden manager. So all of these jobs, if you have if you've been trained in integrated pest management and have your professional pesticide applicator's license, makes you much more desirable for these positions. These are some additional resources for you that we would like, if you'd like to check them out. The University of Georgia has an excellent YouTube page that has a ton of resources on it, short videos that are really informational and kind of related to whatever you want to know about. We also link the National Cooperative Extension information, as well as the Alabama Cooperative Extension Service and National 4-H, just to give you a little bit of what extension looks like in other states and around the nation. One website that I think is really cool, this is a gardening website. And you can find your local cooperative extension office. So all you have to do is type in your zip code, and it will link you to your nearest extension office. And you can figure out the address, it gives you directions, whatever, all kinds of information from them. So if you don't live in Georgia and you can't go to our handy website, no matter where you live, you can type in your zip code and it will tell you where your extension office is and how to contact them. We've also included as our reference as a handout is the Integrated Pest Management Program. They produce these every month. And I think this would be especially beneficial to someone who had received the Integrated Pest Management training and who had completed their pesticide applicator's license. The cool thing is it introduces you to some new creatures and how to control them. I think I like a little rhyming featured creature. So the pepper weevil, this tells you what they look like, their life cycle, what they do, and how to manage them. And so this really just keeps you up to date once you receive that training on how to control new and additional pests that could affect you. We really appreciate you checking out our presentation. We enjoyed learning a little more about Extension than we already knew. This next slide right here just contains our resources that we used. And we hope you enjoyed our presentation, and we wish you the best of luck remaining in the semester. Thank you.